Hi friends, today we're going to look at lesson 6.6. It is on page 251. We've done this in class before, but if you are working on your small practice book, this will be a good review. So when you are using benchmarks, the benchmark is just using a number like a half to compare fractions, where you're using the fraction, be like, is this larger or smaller than a half? So look at compare 2/5 to 1/8. What we're going to do is first we're going to shade in this one. This rectangle is shaded in, we're going to shade in 2/5 here. Okay. And what I notice is that 2/5 is less than 1/2. Now I can come over here and I can shade in 1/8. So if this is 1/8 and this is 2/5, is 1/8 larger or 2/5 larger? When I look at it, it looks like 2/5 is larger than 1/8. And so I make my greater than sign point towards the 2/5. Now, when I look at these, I have 1/2 and 4/6. Now, I know that 1/2 is the same as 3/6 because 3 is half than 6. Now, is 4/6 larger or smaller than 3/6? 4/6 is larger than that, so I know I can put my less than sign or my greater than sign facing 4/6. So 1/2 is less than 4/6. Now, if you don't know how big something is, one thing you can do is you can use lined paper. Now, I'm going to show you real quick on how you can use lined paper to figure out your math problem. So this one is 3/10 and 1/2. So I'm going to use my lined paper sideways so I can make my fraction bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so there is my tenths. Now I know that I have equal pieces. Well, let's make sure that we do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I know that these are tenths, and I'm going to shade in 3 of them for 3/10. So that is 3/10. Now, because my 1 is 3/10, I need to make sure that when I'm thinking of a half, I am also doing tenths. So I'm going to make another square. And I'm going to make my lines again so that my ones are the same size. And I'm going to think, what is half a 10? Oh, 5 is half a 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to shade in half a 10. Right? And then I can figure out that this is 1/2. Now that means that I can look at those and which one's bigger, 3/10 or 1/2. The 1/2 is larger, so on my paper I'm going to make a greater than or less than sign going towards the 1/2 because that one is the larger fraction. Ooh, here we have a check for understanding. We have 11/12 and 4/8. Now, just by looking at these two fractions, I can think in my mind, I know that 4 is half of 8, so that is a half. When I look at 11/12, then I think, what is half of 12? Oh, half of 12 is 6/12. Ooh, 11/12 is much larger. So again, I am going to make my sign going towards, opening up towards the larger fraction. So 11/12 is greater than 4/8. Now let's look at 5/8 and 2/5. 5/8 and 2/5. Now this is going to be a tricky one, so we have to use our halves. So I know that if I did 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I'm going to do an eighth fraction here. I know that half of that 8 is 4, so that's the 1/2 mark. And that would be up to there. So that is 5/8, right? But if I do fifths, that is a little tricky. So half of a fifth I can't really do. So I have to look at my fraction again and try to figure out how to understand that eighths and fifths. How can I compare those? So one thing I can do is I can divide this up into smaller parts or larger parts. So I could do 1, 2, that only gives me 4, doesn't it? That's kind of tricky. So I don't know if I can use this type of model. I'm going to have to do something where I look at my number line and I do a half here, and so then I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ooh, that's not going to work either. Oh, goodness. How am I going to do this? Let's look at pieces. If I have fifths and I have fourths, I have to think about what size these pieces are. So I'm going to pull out my fraction pieces and I'm going to look and see. I need to figure out 5/8. So when I look at my eighths, 4/8 is a half. And then I look at 2/5. 2/5 is, 5/10 is a 2/5. I know that 4/8 and 5/10 are the same. But how many is 1/5 equal to? 1/5 is equal to 2/10. But 1/5 is equal to 2/10, and 2/10 is a lot smaller than 5/10, and 5/10 is the same as 4/8. So if I have I think that 5/8 is going to be larger than 4/10.